Good evening. Will everyone please rise for the national anthem? We are honored to be joined by the Honorable Claudia Daniels-DePeyster, Kings County Supreme Court Judge of the criminal term.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Judge.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Judge. That was beautiful. Good evening and welcome to the induction of trustees and officers of the Brooklyn Bar Association in this, our 150th anniversary year. It is my pleasure and honor to be the Master of Ceremonies this evening as my dear friend Richard Klass becomes the 107th president. I, as the kids say, understand the assignment, so I will be brief. Rich and I have been friends for a very long time, so long that we cannot say exactly how long, because then all of you nice folks will know how old we really are. Let's just say we can now count it in decades. Of course, Rich is smart and competent and dedicated. He would not be here if he was not. But he is also one of the most decent and trustworthy people I know. He is so often my go-to for advice and questions, and no matter how busy he is, he always responds. He has the unique ability to be calm and comforting, knowing how to put people at ease with a joke and a warm smile, usually a corny joke, even as his quick wit is working to solve their problem. Through the years, he's the person I have trusted to represent me and my friends, and I am proud to be his friend. Congratulations, Rich. I'm thrilled to be part of this evening. I know it is not lost on anyone that we are in person for an induction for the first time in 3 years. So how lucky we are to be here, celebrating, because in an uncertain and complicated world, bar associations are one of the places where we find friendship, mentorship, and support, both professional and personal. The camaraderie and goodwill we encounter here help sustain us. And even though the world has changed so much in these past few years, bar associations continue to serve a purpose of good fellowship and good work. So please join me in supporting Rich as he starts his term as president. If you are not a member of this august association, I encourage you to join. And if you are a member who needs to renew, please do it soon. You will not regret it. I want to recognize and congratulate our outgoing president, Armina Gale, who has done such a tremendous job of steering this ship during this past year. And special congratulations to my friend Richard as you start what will undoubtedly be an amazing year under your leadership. It is my honor to introduce the esteemed Honorable Barry Kamins, a partner in the law firm of Idala, Bertuna, and Kamins. Judge Kamins is a retired judge of the Supreme Court, Kings County, having previously served as the administrative judge for criminal matters for the Second Department. He will introduce members of the judiciary and dignitaries.
Thank you. Welcome again to everyone as we celebrate the induction of our fabulous new president, Richard Klass. Let me first again also congratulate Armina Gale for an outstanding performance over the last year, especially during the height of the pandemic, which was particularly difficult. I want to acknowledge just a few people here tonight. The Honorable Cheryl Chambers, the Appellate Division, Second Department. The Honorable Lawrence Knipel, who's with us on the dais. If this is, I guess, a dais. The Administrative Judge of the Civil Term, and Dominic Napolitano, the Treasurer of the New York State Bar Association. Many members of the judiciary have come out to support Richard as he begins his presidency, so I'd ask all the members of the judiciary to please rise and be acknowledged. And as you've heard, this year we celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Brooklyn Bar Association, and I would ask all past presidents of that group please stand and be acknowledged. And that brings us, of course, to our new and fabulous president, Richard Klass. I think it is fair to say that Richard is a renaissance man of the legal profession. If one goes on to Richard's website, one is amazed at the breadth of the legal areas in which he practices. It ranges from bankruptcy and commercial litigation to legal malpractice, to real estate transactions, personal injury cases, wills and estates, and even abandoned property cases. On top of that, he has found time to write several books, several blogs, and offer a number of video seminars. On his website, he states that, quote, practicing law is similar to the manner in which a critical care doctor functions. And Richard has the bedside manner of a doctor. He handles even the most difficult clients with great ease. I'll just give you one brief example. In a murder case he handled, he had to explain to his client how hopeless the case was, but he did it with great aplomb. He told his client, I have some good news and some bad news. What's the bad news? Asked the defendant. Well, the bad news is that your blood is all over the crime scene and the DNA tests prove you committed the crime. Well, what's the good news? The good news is that your cholesterol is 130. But Richard is exactly the right attorney at the right time to lead the Brooklyn Bar as it moves out of the pandemic and back to its leadership role in the legal community. Congratulations.
It's my pleasure to introduce the man who needs no introduction at the Bar Association, Stephen D. Cohn. He's the managing partner of Goldberg Cohn. He's the past president of the Brooklyn Bar Association, currently the chair of the Continuing Legal Education Committee, and the most recent recipient of the Brooklyn Bar Association Lifetime Achievement Award.
Those who believe in a God who is invisible may well dare to dream the dream which is impossible, but only those who dream the impossible will ever achieve the incredible. We just had a most incredible and successful 150th anniversary dinner of the Brooklyn Bar Association. Richard, it's an enormous task to be the president of the Brooklyn Bar Association at this time in our history. It is difficult for so many bar associations to survive and grow, especially with declining membership, drops in income, health issues, rent, taxes. Attorneys are working hybrid from home and the office, causing tremendous consternation and upheaval. And someone just told me that the Princeton Club was served with foreclosure notice today. Richard, you have a challenging job ahead of you as our new president. I know that with the dedicated officers and trustees, you can and will succeed. You have one of the most outstanding roster of officers, trustees, and members, and together the Brooklyn Bar will be made to flourish. I discovered Richard many years ago outside New York Law School, not studying, but drinking beer. But somehow, I know he would be the one to lead us at this momentous time. Richard, you are incredible. Articulate, bright, bold, caring, incisive, innovative, and intelligent. Plus, what any organization needs, you are forward-thinking and a true leader. And his wife asked me to add handsome too. Let me introduce his wife, Stacy, daughter, Sophia, son, Miles, his mom, Eva, his dad, Arthur, Stacy's mom, Marlene, and Stacy's sister and husband, Wendy and Adam. Thank you for being with us tonight. Richard has the drive, passion, and skill to get the Brooklyn Bar Association on the move again. Richard, as Truman Capote, who actually lived a few blocks from here, said, "Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor." I know you will bring a lot of seasoning to your presidency with much success. Now, if you were at the 150th anniversary, Richard told this story about his third-grade daughter who had an emergency appendicitis. I got a phone call. I was the board of trustees of Litch. I ran down, sued. I had my ID. I walked in. There's two residents, green residents, and they said, "Doc, we're so good to see you. Doc, you're going to do the surgery." We were going to do the surgery. I said, "No, I'm not doing the surgery. You're not doing the surgery. Get a pediatric surgeon from NYU." And the fact is, the reason that I didn't do the surgery, nor did the residents do the surgery, is why I can introduce his daughter, Sophia, tonight.
To the best Tati in the world. If you didn't know, I call my dad Tati. It's a story, we'll talk about it later. Today is so exciting because your Court Street lawyer is adding a new title. I could not think of a better person for the job. All of our lives, you have been telling Miles and me not to become lawyers. I'm starting to think that the reason is not because it involves too much reading, but rather because you want to keep it for yourself. While attending Hofstra University, you were a communications major and wanted to go into the field of film and TV. One of your history professors said, "No, you're not, you're gonna be a lawyer." And right then and there, you switched your major to history. I think it is safe to say that this was a smart move on your part, as we are all sitting here 30 years later in this room inducting you as the 2002 president of the Brooklyn Bar Association. A couple of months ago, my brother Miles was hurt in a bad ski accident and has been going through a rough time. You have been so supportive in making sure to go to as many doctor's appointments as you can and standing behind him. You are also a great husband to Mommy and complete our family. The Brooklyn Bar is lucky to have someone who is so patient and kind. Your passion for the law is admirable and inspiring, and I know that the love that he shows us, he will show to the bar.
I'm pleased to introduce Stefano Filippazzo. Mr. Filippazzo is a past trustee and a highly regarded member of the Brooklyn Bar Association and the Brooklyn legal community. Mr. Filippazzo has been Richard's office suite mate for almost 20 years.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Good evening, and congratulations to the newly elected board and trustees. Richard Klass, also known by many as your Court Street lawyer, and I first met over 20 years ago. A relationship that started as landlord-tenant has flourished over the years into a friendship, a partnership, and one in which Camille and I consider Richard and his family, Stacy, Sophia, and Miles, part of our family. I've had the opportunity over the past 20 years to witness firsthand the type of man Richard is. First and foremost, he's a family man. Running his busy law practice never hindered his ability to make his family his priority. And he has overcome and continues to overcome each and every obstacle that life throws his way. Both in his personal and professional life, Richard is passionate, dedicated, truthful, honorable, and most of all, a dear friend. What you see is what you get with Richard, and having the opportunity to experience his qualities firsthand for the past 20 years have made me a better person and attorney. Richard, I have no doubt that you will be an excellent president of the Brooklyn Bar Association, that you will lead this organization with fairness and logic, and with a certain type of charisma that only you can. So, Rich, be yourself. Apply your unique qualities to this great organization. And most importantly, best advice I could give you, keep Greg Shown on speed dial, and you're going to do a great job. Congratulations, brother.
It's my pleasure to introduce Howard Ellman. He's the founding member of Ellman Freiberg, concentrating in the areas of corporate litigation, legal malpractice defense, and representing attorneys in disciplinary proceedings. Mr. Ellman has known Richard since the 5th grade.
Which makes me a lot older than you, Hemalee. Good evening, everybody. While being able to stand up tonight for my brother from another mother, as he takes his place in the pantheon of great Brooklyn lawyers, is one of the great privileges of my life, it is one that is not remotely surprising to me. In fact, everything Rich has done in his career, scratch that, everything Rich has done since the first day of law school has made this night almost inevitable. And looking back on Rich's life and career as I have in preparation for tonight, there's one story from one night almost exactly 30 years and 2 months ago, and this is not your bachelor party, so don't worry, that really stands out as the epitome of the path that Rich traveled to get where he is now. It was a warm evening in the spring of 1992. Rich and I were third-year law students at our respective law schools. I came home to New York with my roommate, and we made plans to meet up with Rich in the city to do his favorite thing, go to a comedy club. Or I should say his second favorite thing, because his actual favorite thing back then was learning about the law. Crazy but true. I don't know what you were talking about, Steve, because that's not my experience. Every time we spoke, Rich would tell me about the latest thing he learned, while I would probably tell him about how much beer I drank the night before. So it went then, and so it goes now. Anyway, my roommate and I met up with Rich in the city. He took the subway in from Brooklyn, of course, and then we took the subway together to the club. I have no doubt that over the 2 million people that rode the subway that day, Rich was the only one who entertained himself by bringing and reading a legal textbook on the train. You can't make this stuff up. And after a short, but for Rich, productive subway ride, we get to the comedy club. It was the Comedy Cellar in the West Village. And a then unknown Jon Stewart takes the stage. Jon starts riffing on the audience. So being the nice guy that I am, I start waving Rich's book around to try to get Jon's attention, hoping that he would mock poor Rich. Well, it didn't exactly turn out that way. Jon Stewart came over to our table, asked us what was going on. I said, hey, can you believe this? My friend, is a nerd. He's reading a law book, and he's in law school. So Jon Stewart turns to us, and he goes, and he apparently knew something about Rich that night that I didn't know yet, but now do. He looked at Rich and said, if I was on death row, that's the guy I'd want defending me. Not you two clowns, you'd probably be judging a wet t-shirt contest. Again, so it was then and so it is now. Jon Stewart knew what I quickly learned, which is that Rich would turn out to be an amazing lawyer. The law is truly Rich's calling, and tonight is so incredibly well-deserved. Sadly, I was only given 4 minutes, so I can't tell all of you about all the ways in which Rich is a phenomenal lawyer. but you undoubtedly know that already. Nor can I tell you about all the ways in which he is an amazing husband, father, and friend, although Sophia did a great job with that, and surely you all know that as well. Nor do I need to tell you about how seriously Rich takes his civic responsibilities and does so with such love and energy, because tonight is just the culmination of all that. But what I do want to share with all of you as my parting thought is that I have always been so proud to be Rich's brother, and that is truly how we refer to each other. And the love we share runs deep. And so tonight, as I stand up here and I get to quell a little bit, my cup truly runneth over. So please join me in wishing Rich a hearty congratulations. And I wish the members of the Brooklyn Bar an even heartier one, because there's no one more deserving and better suited for this role than Rich. You are being put in the best hands possible, so congratulations to all of you.
It is my great, and main event. It is my great privilege to introduce Justice Lawrence Knipel, who is a dear friend too and a tremendous supporter of this Bar Association. He is the administrative judge for civil matters for the Supreme Court, Kings County. He has known Richard since Richard first became a lawyer.
Before we get to the induction, I just want a few comments. It is my sincere honor, and I feel privileged to induct Richard Klass as our new Brooklyn Bar Association president tonight. Richard, who, like was said, I've known you, I think, since you become a lawyer about 30 years ago, right? He's just the kind of leader that the Brooklyn Bar does need at this critical juncture, really, in Bar Association history as well as general societal history. 6 times. You know, I thought that maybe some of the earlier speakers would get to say this, but now I get to, no one touched on it, so I just want to mention a few of the merits that he has beyond being a great guy in life. 6 times named a super lawyer, Richard is the author of numerous books and articles, and his blog, Law Currents, has more than 130,000 followers. So to me, that's very impressive. No wonder the New York Times has called him, and I'm quoting, street smart with verve, hustle, and charisma. That's the New York Times. So wonderful. Will the inductee please stand? Okay. Okay. Will the following trustees please stand? The class of 2025. Dean Delianites, Marty Edelman, Michael Farkas, Gregory LaSpina, Natoya McGhie, Margherita Racanelli, and Scott Rynecki. Scott Rynecki? No. Okay. Of the oath of the class of 2025 trustees. Okay. Now raise your right hands and state, I, fill in the blank. Good. Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The State of New York.
The State of New York.
And the bylaws of the Brooklyn Bar Association.
And the bylaws of the Brooklyn Bar Association.
And promise that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee to the best of my ability.
And promise that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee to the best of my ability.
Now will these following officers please stand? Joseph Rosato. Anthony Vaughn. Christina Golkin. Daniel Antonelli. And Angelique Moreno. Now, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I You can say your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of New York
that I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of New York
and the bylaws of the Brooklyn Bar Association,
and the bylaws of the Brooklyn Bar Association,
and promise that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and promise that I will faithfully discharge the duties
as an officer to the best of my ability.
as an officer to the best of my ability.
Okay, congratulations. And now to our president. Raise your right hand. I, Richard Klass, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of New York.
I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of New York.
And the bylaws of the Brooklyn Bar Association.
Bylaws of the Brooklyn Bar Association.
And promise that I will faithfully discharge
Promise I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of the president
the duties of the office of the president
to the best of my
to the
ability.
best of my ability.
Congratulations.
If you don't mind, don't sit yet. I want to recognize somebody very special who didn't get this honor because of COVID, who's here with us. And it's our second immediate president, past president, Anthony Lamberti. And I'm so glad. Thank you for guiding us through COVID. Thank you. Now you may sit. And I'm keeping you from the food, so, okay. My legal career started right here on Court Street 30 years ago. The origin of the term Court Street lawyer arose when many Jewish lawyers were not hired by Manhattan white shoe firms. The term also acquired a negative connotation, referring to ambulance chasers and fast talkers. At one point, one Brooklyn Law School professor sued another for slander for calling him a Court Street lawyer. However, the term Court Street lawyer evolved into a lawyer who is well-skilled and quick on his or her feet. It also refers to an attorney whose word was his or her bond, and one who helps working class and middle class people. My office telephone number is 718 Court Street. My creative wife, Stacy, came up with the idea when I spoke with her about how much being a Court Street lawyer meant to me. After graduating from law school, I hung out my shingle and began practicing law as a solo practitioner. At the beginning of my career, one of my first clients who gave me some notoriety was Dr. Tush. He was well known by his subway ads for his medical practice, 1-800-MD Tush. The collection cases I handled for him had me suing former patients for laser surgery procedures for anal fissures and penile warts. If litigation is the cow, with the plaintiff pulling the cow's horns and the defendant pulling its tail, I was grabbing its ass. At the beginning of my career, while developing a law practice, I also handled many divorce cases in the Brooklyn matrimonial parts. I have many memories of those early days. I remember Judge Schneier had a court officer who was literally on crutches and couldn't move. I invited my mother to come watch me put on a grounds trial before Judge Yancey, for her only to dismiss my case right after my second question. And her telling me afterwards, "Why didn't you tell me you brought your mother?" In those days, New York had not yet adopted no-fault divorce, and I was walking my client through the script of questions on the elements of constructive abandonment for Judge Rigler. On the question, "Did you ask your wife to have sex with you and she refused?" my client said, "Absolutely not." Judge Rigler told me, "Go over the script with my client again so we can go back on the record." Over time, I branched out into other areas of law, most of which involved debtor and creditor issues, bankruptcy, foreclosure, collection, and real estate litigation. Helping people move past traumatic episodes in their lives is a calling for me. I enjoy guiding my clients to safety through the murky waters of debt and frustration. On many occasions, I've had bankruptcy clients sit in my office crying tears of joy when I told them that they don't have to dig anymore to scrape together money they don't have to pay down debts that they can't afford. Truly the fresh start promised by the U.S. Constitution. I became a member of the Brooklyn Bar Association even before I became a lawyer. I knew that being a member of this association was critical to my legal career. I also understood that it was important to be part of an organization that helped young lawyers like myself navigate through the legal morass. I attended as many continuing legal education courses as I could to gain knowledge both in practical skills and areas of practice. I also developed many good friendships over the years through my membership in the Brooklyn Bar. I truly owe a great deal of gratitude to this fine organization for guiding me through my legal career. I'm glad to have been able to give back to the Brooklyn Bar as well. Through my chairmanship of the Mentor Committee, I've been able to help many lawyers over the years. And I'm happy Judge Quinones is been great help to me, and she's going to be taking over Mentor Committee. So congratulations. Almost any day of the week, I will get a call or email from a lawyer asking me for advice. This will be a challenging year for our association as we emerge into the post-COVID world. We're beginning once again to host in-person events where we're working on boosting membership as bar associations have to reassert their relevance in the legal community. And in particular, we're going to conduct a search for an executive director as Avery Oken is retired. I want to thank in advance my talented and able executive committee, which has already been of great help to me and the Brooklyn Bar. Thank you. I congratulate the reappointed and incoming trustees and hope you will enjoy the camaraderie of our board members and our past presidents. I'd also like to thank my right hand, Euclid Spencer, for being with me 20 years, my associate, Hillary Schultz, and my former associate, one of my best friends, Elisa Rosenthal. I'd like to thank Hemalee for being the MC tonight, to thank Steve and Howie, and of course to Judge Kamins and to Judge Knipel for speaking tonight, and of course to my daughter Sophia, who I love very much. I would like to thank my beautiful wife Stacy, my son Miles, who I'm really blessed to have here after having had surgery 2 weeks ago. And I welcome my mother, Eva Klass, and my father, Arthur Klass, and my mother-in-law, Marlene Kreinen, and I'm really glad to have all of you here. And my sister-in-law, Adam, and her husband, Wendy Modlin. It's an honor to have my family here as well. I would especially like to thank Greg Serchione, Barry Kamins, and Steve Cohn for making this induction ceremony possible and helping smooth a very difficult transition. I also want to thank all of the trustees and the past presidents who've offered their help and advice. We're going to set out to make our association stronger and develop a firm long-range plan. And lastly, thanks to all of you in attendance for making this evening a very special and memorable event in my life. And thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Refreshments are downstairs. Please stay and share that with us.
But I'll take it. How you feeling? How did that go?
Yeah, great. Spectacular. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Very happy.